Hello today guys, so today we're going to be looking at day trading, a guide on how to day trade. So the first thing I always look for when I'm day trading is obviously if there's any news on stocks which can cause it to rise, or if there is, sometimes stocks can just squeeze if they got high short interest, or they can just run randomly if they're getting a lot of social media hype. So we're looking at today SCNX. This one ran the other day all the way to 260, and my main thing I use when I'm day trading is volume. It's massive because when a stock has a lot of volume, it usually has a lot of attention, and a lot of people buy, and a lot of people want to play it, and they're usually the plays that get the most attention on the day with the most possibilities of running. So uh, the other day, SCNX, I remember this one pre-market, it dropped some news, and the volume was quite high compared to its average volume. It was like 20 times the average volume. It was very high, which is crazy for a stock, especially pre-market. So when I see a stock with a lot of volume and a lot more average in pre-market, or just in the day in general, you know it's probably gonna have a decent run because you can't know for sure, but it's a big possibility with all that volume. So SCNX the other day, it had 801 million volume, which is a lot of volume. And as you can see, it ran all the way from 0.57 it closed on the day before, and it ran all the way to 260, so that's like a 300%er with and at 800 volume. And another prime example is CMBM the other day, which I remember as well. They dropped some news the other day, Starlink, a contract or something with Starlink, and had a huge volume again pre-market, ran like another, I think this one ran about 1000%. And as you can see here, it had 560 million volume, and if you look at the days before, look at the average volume, it's getting about 100k average every day, which is, so that 560 million is crazy. So that's why it ran so much. And then the same with the day after, it had decent volume as well. And one thing you might notice is with stocks that have a lot of volume, because I noticed this with BYND, I noticed this with BYND. It had 2 billion volume in it, over 2 billion volume for 2 days in a row when it ran last month. And usually, when you get days where you get 2 like billion volume or a billion volume, as you can see here, where is it? 5 day, 1 month, 1 day. As you can see, I think 1.2 billion volume, and then it had 2 billion, and then 2.2 billion. And as you can see, usually when you get days with massive volume, they usually run, they usually can multi-day, they have multi-day potential of running again. So as you see on this one, we had 438 million, next day 1.2 billion, and it ran all the way from 0.50 to $9, I believe, in like after hours or pre-market. So volume is huge. That's one thing you want to be looking out for if you're day trading. And another thing I use as well when I'm day trading is the VAP, which is the volume weighted average. And it's basically what a lot of traders use, especially day traders, for finding it's a good point for exit and entry. So it's a good point to buy and sell. So if basically if the price is if the stock's trading over VWAP, it is bullish as it's holding over the VAP, and that can be a gauge of where the stock's moving. So if the stock's above the VAP, it's bullish, and that's an indication that there's decent buying pressure. You got some support there, and if it goes below the VAP, that is bearish and indicates sellers are taking control. So what you might see is the stock might go above VAP, and then if it's overextended on the VAP, like over by quite a bit, it will eventually need to pull back. And then what you might see is sometimes is it hits the VAP, comes back down, hits the VAP, and it bounces off it. And if it bounces off it, that's very bullish, as it can then make new highs. But obviously, if it falls below, it's bearish, and you might want to think about looking at exit points. And another thing I use for day trading is the 1 and 5 minute chart, because it's crucial as well. You can see patterns on the chart when you use it, and see it can give you a gauge of what to look for. So yeah, those are the few things I've been mainly looking at if you're day trading. They are crucial and huge. Also, another thing I use when I'm day trading is dilution tracker. Basically, when I'm looking at a stock to day trade, say like CHR yesterday, it ran. So I'd be looking at if the company has any cash, and obviously I'm pretty sure before yesterday they had no cash. So when a company has no cash and they're a penny stock, it's likely they need to dilute to fund operations. It just makes sense. But obviously, you don't want to be caught holding the bag, as a lot of people yesterday got caught holding the bag with CHR when it diluted. The float is now huge, 211 million from 11 million, and they do have cash now because of it. But if you're day trading, that's one of the main things you want to look at as well, so you don't get caught holding the bag, or they don't drop dilution on you. Or look at SEC filings for S3s, and yeah, so like if you're swinging, this can also be very good for swinging stocks as well. So say you wanted to swing NYSE, and I was thinking, yeah, decent low float. They got a bit of cash as well, so if I'm planning to hold for maybe a month or two, I know it's like unlikely that I'm going to get diluted on that, as they got like 9 months of cash. So that is one of the another main thing you want to be looking at if you're day trading or swing trading. Dilution tracker is a free site. You can have a look at the float and the company cash. If you don't if you could buy premium, you can obviously get a few more details, but you don't necessarily need it, as it can all be checked in filings anyway. And the next thing I'll be talking about is scanners. So if you're day trading, you need a scanner so you can see which stocks are moving. So currently it's pre-market, and you can see these are the top runners currently today. So you got them all here, and you can see the float size, the volume, and the change, and the price is currently sitting at. And then here, this one here, the momentum stocks only, this is where in the last 5 minutes the stocks have gone up, the percentage they've gone up in the last 5 minutes, and you got their float, the volume, and you got the ticker symbols. So it's a good way of finding out which stocks are running and getting a bit of hype, and you can see them. And you can actually customize it to a certain float, price, volume, or spread you want, because a lot of stocks that run in pre-market and after hours can run on no volume. So it's most likely they're going to just dump as they're being used as exit liquidity. So yeah, just be careful of that, as a lot of stocks do run pre-market and after hours and dump. So make sure if you're trading a stock, always look out for volume. That's my main key thing when I'm trading a stock, as volume is huge. And another thing is you can use is you want if you want to some of the stocks that run, they run on news, and they'll get news in pre-market, so around like 11 a.m. or 12 a.m., 1 p.m. And then you can basically go to this site, Stock Titan, and you can click here, news feeds, stock news live. So basically, like, put all the news that comes out here live. Or if you see a stock on here on the momentums running, and you're thinking, why is that up today? Or over here is, why is it running? You can go over here. So for example, CMB, when it ran the other day, I could have come here, be like, why is it up 300%? And if you come here, it would tell you it had news. So you can see the news it had the other day. It integrated with Starlink for Enterprise. So, and you can see it ran very high. So you want to always be looking out for the news on these stocks. Some news is fluff, not very good. So you want to try and pick out the news. Anything that's usually bio usually runs pretty hot, but it can also dump pretty hard. Anything to do in the video recently has been really hot, running hard. Same with Starlink, as you've seen with CMBM. But yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. So thank you for watching, and hope it helped you. See you later.